Look, the fuel to your business is the next thing I want to talk to you about. How many names do you have right now? If you had to guess that you can call, just throw it down in the chat. It'd be great for me to see. Okay, great. Okay, do you remember how much you thought you would sell? A lot of you said like 15,000, right? 12,000, 22,000 I saw. Okay, 30 to 45 orders, right? Here's what I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine that the company's going to pay you that amount of what you think you're going to make for having 200 names and numbers. Let's role play this with someone. So I'm going to say, let's see here, Maddie, is it Schoonover? Is she on the call?
Yeah.
All right, Maddie, you're at what percent are you at?
30.
30. So you're going to make $4,500. Maddie, how do you feel about that?
Pretty good.
Okay, so let's do this. So what if the company paid you $22 for every name that you brought to the table? The company just would write you a check. So you can come up with 300 if you want to. How would you feel about that?
Really good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what the company's going to do. Because I can tell you, if you have 200 names and numbers, great things are going to happen. So here's what I want you to understand. This is really important, right? I was talking to the president the other day. He came to town. We visited for 2 days. And I said this. I said, representatives today, I know this sounds like, maybe your mom and dad, you have it easier than I did when I started. Okay, when I started, you know what you would do? You would go to a phone book and try to look someone's name up in an actual book. You know why? Because there was no internet. And then you would go to your home line, pick up the actual telephone, and you would dial the number. And if they didn't answer, right? And then you'd have to like share the phone with like your mom, dad, like everyone in the house used that same phone. Okay. I'm not saying it's easier per se, but here's what I want to share with you. Your moms and dads, I can tell you this for a fact because I'm the type of person you want to do a demo for. I'm 51, I have 2 kids, right? My wife is 51, she has 2 kids, right? We don't make every meal. We order out every once in a while. We're like exactly who you do demos for. Here's what has happened since 2007, right? Facebook started, right? Facebook started. I remember college kids telling me about it. They were like, oh, you got to join this thing. And I was like, it's only for college kids. No, you got to join it. It's going to be the thing. And I was like, okay. I joined in 2007. With every year that passed, what has happened to the number of friends and requests that I get? I have like 200 requests that I haven't even looked at. And I'm not like bragging, by the way. I just don't look at Facebook every day. But here's what I will tell you. I have people that I haven't talked to in 20 years that are reaching out. And the same happens to your mom and dad. So that's why I'm not bragging. Okay. And then I have LinkedIn and the same thing happens. Right. And even on Instagram, same thing happens. Maybe your mom and dad doesn't do LinkedIn, and maybe they don't do Facebook, and maybe they don't do what's the other one? Instagram or whatever the other one is. But what I can tell you is I have more contacts today than I did because of social media. Okay, the second thing I want to point out, your manager might have done this with you before. Everyone open up your phone, open up the contacts list or the app, scroll to the very bottom. Okay, you have how many names you have? Okay, first thing is all of those people had parents. Nobody just pops onto earth, right? So all those people have parents. Okay. And the second thing I want you to recognize is that's you at, I'm going to pick one person out here. You're like 20, right? How many more names do you think you're going to accumulate over the next 30 years when you're in your 50? Are you going to have more or less names? And you know how many times I've deleted a contact on my phone? 0. I've had a cell phone, since 1996, I think. I was one of the first people I knew who had a cell phone. So over that time, I've deleted 0. So here's what I want you to know. If my sons called any of those people and said, hey, I'm Mike Muriel's son, the person on the line would say, oh, hey, right? Kind of like that. Some of them would be like, oh, hey, Bodie, I know all about you. Like your dad and I talk all the time. Some of them would be like, oh, yeah, we used to, your son, you were on the soccer team with my son, Jimmy, right? You guys get that? But if they reached out to anyone, if they direct messaged any one of my Facebook friends, like, hey, this is Bodie, I'm Mike Muriel's son, right? And Facebook feeds, it happens all the time, right? Every time I'm around someone I haven't seen in a while, they're like, oh yeah, how was that trip? And I'm like, the one last year? Like, well, yeah, oh, I remember seeing that. Right? Like everyone knows about everyone's life to the point where if you call on those people, they know who you are. And that's why you get appointments. And that's what I want you to understand. No one you know will ever buy Cutco because it's you, but they will line up an appointment because it's you. That's the big thing I want you to walk away with this. The other big thing I want you to walk away with is you have a ton of people that you can call. Between mom, dad, grandma, by the way, is another person. Like my mom has so many Facebook friends. She's like on Facebook like it's her job now because she's retired. Right? How many of your grandmas are on Facebook? How many of an aunt or uncle that's on Facebook? Like you can practically harvest all of those names if you really wanted to. That's what's a little creepy, but also pretty cool if you're selling Cutco and you're trying to come up with 200 names and numbers. What about siblings? Could you do that with siblings? Sure. Pay them $50. Pay them $20. Pay them a 6-pack of grape soda. Like whatever's going to make them happy. You guys get the point, right? Looks like you don't like that grape soda. All right. Boyfriend, girlfriend, right? What do you say to boyfriend, girlfriend? Hey, how'd you like to go out to the best restaurant in XYZ town? Great. Can you help me come up with 50 people? Wouldn't that be a great thing to do? Or best friend, hey, do you want to have so I had a representative. He's like, hey, do you want to do a limo night? And his friend was like, what's limo night? He goes, that's where you and we go out in a limo. We go out to the best restaurant. We roll in and I buy it for you. And his friend's like, yeah. And he goes, great. I need 50 names and numbers. He goes, sounds great. I just want you to know that like where there's a will, there's a way. This is going to be the hardest thing that you do is coming up with the 200 names. Now, what if I told you, you have until tomorrow at noon or we're not paying you this cash, right? Melissa, I think it was, right? I'm not going to pay you $4,500. Maddie, sorry. I'm not going to pay you $4,500 if you don't have this by tomorrow at noon. Maddie, would you get this done by tomorrow at noon? It's like, Mike, slam dunk. I'll get it to you tonight. In fact, I'll calligraphy it, and I'll send it to you carrier pigeon and it'll show up at your house by 7 a.m. just to make sure that it's there. That's what I want you to realize. The fuel to your business is the number of people that you do a demo for during the push. And then how many recommendations you're going to get from that is going to be the fuel to August. Right, Casey, how much Cutco have you sold personally?
I'm at 87,000.
Yeah. Mike Dowd's at like, what is he at? $5 million. I think he has 10,000 customers. Right. So, what's really cool for Mike is every once in a while, he just sends like an email blast to all of his customers and will sell like $5,000 by sending an email. Bam. That's pretty cool. How do you think he has so many customers? Because he saw everyone that he knew, and then those people refer you to more people. Does everyone get that? I want you to do a demo for everyone you know or possibly know first, and then get recommendations from those people. So the other thing you need to do is memorize recommendations. The last thing you need to do is you need to memorize the close. Because if you're going to do all these appointments, you want to memorize the close, especially the like list part of the close. And here's what happens. If you do all this and you present the ultimate and signature every time, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to sell a handful of them, right?